Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. As you get settled on the sitting, please feel free to utilize the tables at the front. Please. This back seat is going to get very cold soon and you will not enjoy it. The safest bet is right at the front, so feel free to utilize the seats at the front, and the late comers will put them in the cold. Welcome once again. DJ. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Good evening. When I pass the drinks so I can get a good evening from us. How are you? To the team from PwC, DFCU Bank, NTV. Well, NTV is part of them. The media fraternity, they're our guests this evening. You're here because we're going to teach you and the public about something very, very important. So welcome to it. My name is Flavia Tumusime. I'm a news anchor with NTV, and going forward, I will be your host for this wonderful venture, feature, show, challenge that we're about to start. So I thought before I go into it, before we have all the fun and understand why we're here tonight, perhaps I can give you just a bit of a, should I say a taste? Or should I, because people in the media love to have a bit of drama. What's anything without spice? So ladies and gentlemen, this is why we're here tonight. Be as African as you can be, give a round of applause. One more, because the ladies were excited to show you this. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the battle for cash. We know how to save, we have to learn how to invest, and now you'll have a chance to win. Thank you so much, ladies. Obogalwanange, as these lovely ladies in the stage. Thank you so much. As you can see the images on the screens, Battle for cash. Thank you so much. So, tonight, we're trying to give you a feel of what the show will be like and more. And we figured, why not actually have the show tonight so that the media understand, instead of just watching it on TV, you understand what the teams are going through. Why teams? What do you mean teams? And I know some of you are already grouped in teams and you know what we're talking about. But to start us off this evening, as we talk about the battle for cash and of course the DFCU Investment Club, which is what you need to belong to if you're not already part of it. You don't have an account already with DFCU as an investment club. You will learn more about it this evening. Please allow me welcome to give us more details on this and start us off this evening before we get to the nitty-gritty of the show, what it will be about, when will it be, how can we take part. Welcome the DFCU Bank Head of Brand Marketing and Communications, Mr. Jude Kansimi. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So I was just checking if you're awake. I think you are awake. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Flavia. I'm not going to the protocol, but obviously among us we have PwC, represented by the senior partner. I think I got that right, Mr. Kamaligia. You have a team from DFCU. I'm not going to the details, and our judges are also here. Of course, members of the press, you're all welcome. I will not take a lot of time. As Flavia said, we're here today to launch an exciting venture. I think Flavia called it a venture. So I'll keep to that, I'll call it a venture. We're here to launch an exciting campaign as DFCU in partnership with PwC and NTV, who is our media partner. So I'll take you briefly, just a few slides, 2 slides, on what the battle for cash is all about. And then after that, Flavia will be telling you what's next. Okay, just quickly, as DFCU, we, all of you know that we're a bank, obviously. But beyond that, we do have some other responsibilities as a financial institution. So this campaign really is about driving a savings culture among Ugandans. I think Uganda probably has the lowest savings level, savings to GDP ratio in the whole of East Africa. So for us, this campaign, or this show, if you like, is really about creating awareness about the need for savings, why savings are important in this country, why we need to drive the saving culture among the youth, the ladies, and everyone else. So that's really the main driver of this campaign. And the good thing is that our partner PwC and NTV also believe, they also believe that we need to do that as well. Okay, the way it's going to run, it's very, very, very simple. Participating clubs, in this case, really what we're looking at is the focus is on investment clubs, and we want the investment clubs in Uganda, in this country, to come together, open accounts in DFCU, and then be able to be part of this show. So what will happen is that clubs will get a chance to pitch their business proposals, because really, when you set up an investment club, you have an objective in mind, yeah? It's not really that you get together a group of 4 and form this club and then start putting money away. There's always an objective behind that. So what we want to do is to, we want these clubs to come together, send in their business plans. Why did they come together to set up an investment club? And to do that, we do have a very simple form, which is really more or less the business plan that you have designed, which is this. So once you fill it in, you just submit it to DFCU. I think I'll give you those details later on. So once you fill in the form, they drop it off at any DFCU branch, and then they'll be able to, we have a panel of judges, and they'll be able to pitch their proposals to those judges, and then eventually have the winner. So as I said, the partner is NTV and PwC. So how is it going to work? We have 2 phases of the competition. So the first phase that's going to run for about 8 weeks will involve a call for entries. So the investment clubs will submit their business plans, and then using this form. Once that phase is done, we'll go to phase 2. And in phase 2, which is more of a TV show format, the business plans will be evaluated by a team of judges. We'll introduce those later on. And then we'll select the top 20 clubs. So the top 20 clubs are the ones that will now be able to battle for cash. The judges will take them through a series of activities, and we'll air all this on NTV every Thursday. So just quickly to show you how the flow is going to be, clubs submit their forms, the business plans, in this form. Of course, the forms will be evaluated. They're narrowed down to 20, as I said. Then the 20 clubs are given tasks to accomplish. And then, of course, the panel of judges will continuously evaluate and then eventually choose the top 7 clubs. And then we'll have the grand finale. So very simple campaign, but we believe it's an exciting one. And the fact that it's going to run on NTV, ladies and gentlemen, brings in another dimension, because NTV on a daily, I think they reach over 2 million, they have an audience of over 2 million people. So by being on NTV, we're actually going to push this show out there. Yeah, we're going to have over 2 million people every Thursday watching this show, and they'll be able to learn from the tasks that we'll be showcasing. They'll learn how to save, what they need to do, how to do a business plan. And so the show is not essentially about the 20 participating teams, but it's beyond that. We're looking at over 2 million, an audience of over 2 million people to be part of this. Of course, the entry process, I think just to clarify that, you can get the entry form at the branch, or you can go to our website. We have our website, dfcinvestmentclub.com. You can also pick the entry form from there, fill it in. Then you can drop off your entry form either at the branch, or we have an email address, investmentclubs@dfcgroup.com. That will straight away come to us. And then, of course, our partner PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, will evaluate the entries, and then, of course, choose the top 20, as I said earlier. Very simple process, and we think that all the clubs will be excited about this competition. Obviously, for any competition, participants expect to win. You can't run a competition and people come and showcase what they have to do, and then you say, okay, thank you very much. It was a nice show, goodbye. No. Of course, we believe that we need to put forward a bit of motivation for the clubs to be part of the show. And for that, we have 3 sets of prizes. But other than the cash, the 100 million, personally, I believe that the tour to Nairobi is probably the biggest prize because, as we know, Kenyans are very good at saving. They have very huge clubs that have invested in very huge projects, skyscrapers. I mean, the government, they lend to the government in Kenya. So for me, the biggest prize actually that I see is the tour to Nairobi, where the top 20 clubs are able to go and learn a few things and then hopefully come and be able to get the energy to move their business plans forward. And obviously, the other benefit also is that the top 7 clubs will also have 1 year's free advisory, courtesy of PwC. I think that's also a very big prize. And obviously, the cash will come in handy. We're looking at a total of 100 million that will be shared among the 7 clubs. That will come in handy. What that means is that the clubs will be able to actually get a push on their projects by getting some cash also to push them forward. In terms of timelines, this should be my last slide. The competition effectively starts on Monday, that's 10th July, and then we'll be encouraging the clubs to send in their entries, and then by 4th of September, we'll close the period for sending in your entries, the entries, and then we'll do an evaluation of the entries, and then get the top 20 clubs, and then the tasks, the real show, where the real thing is, we start on 15th of September. And then the airing will run all the way up to December 14th when you have the grand finale. So briefly, that's what we are all about today. That's what we're launching today. And we need to just get ready to battle for cash. Thank you very much, Flavia.
Thank you so much. Jude Kansime, Head of Brand Marketing and Communications at DFCU Bank. You know, Jude, I'm not sure if they heard you right. You said 100 million, and they just looked at you like you said 300,000. He said 100 million shillings. Come on.
We didn't get any clubs for 100.
We're dealing with very rich people here. So
you need to join the bank, eh?
Yeah. You know, you have to be careful now. The next statement you say. But I am part of the bank. I have evidence even now. If you want to see evidence. So, ladies and gentlemen, battle for cash. It has save, it has invest, and it has win. Save, obviously, is probably the biggest call to action for this campaign and this show. It is not just about you winning the up to 100 million for your investment club. It's saving. The savings culture is still lacking in our country because we have a certain disease. Yes, there's cancer, there's AIDS, but then there's also living within our means. It is a very big disease in Uganda. Someone earns 2 million shillings and lives the lifestyle of a 10 million shilling earner. I don't know where the other balance comes from, but for some reason they do. And there's also a culture where we think to save money, you must be earning a certain amount of money to have balance because you rent, you have transport, you have what? I know a colleague of mine, Shanice Kachunjira, who said, I wonder how people manage to think about their money. Because someone said to them, I'd like an increment in my salary. And they said, oh, are you saving up for something? They said, no, I shifted somewhere far. So the transportation from the yard to work. But we need to have a savings culture. And this show, hopefully by the end of it, people have learned what to do with their money, no matter how small your earning is. And the beauty about an investment club is you're not doing it alone. You're a group, 4 or more. So really, if you have your friends at work, even enemies, it's money. Don't put feelings in money. Just come together and make it work. Invest is the other word we have in this. It's very important that I've seen through workplaces. When you pull money together, the best you can do is give it to Flavia this month, give it to Joseph the next month, give it to Anne the next month,
And that's all. So you don't really know what Flavia does with the money, you don't know. And then in 2 years, you don't really see what that money did for them. But if you have, or you're empowered with the knowledge to invest your money better, in the next 4 or 5 years, you're a different individual compared to what you are today. Then the winning is where we're all Ugandans. Don't ever present anything to Ugandans if they're not winning. Why are you like this? Why are you for like this? But this is good, because after you learn what to do with your money, you know that up to 100 million shillings will make sense. You know what to do with the money. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, given that I told you I'll give you a sketch of what exactly the show will look like, I'd like to introduce to you the judges for Battle for Cash. These judges are no strangers to the world of finance, to the world of motivation, and they like to teach you about your money. They know about money. So I'm going to go to the corner because these you need to see them clearly, know them before the show starts. And the first judge for Battle for Cash is actually a manager for the circles and investment clubs at DFCU Bank. He has worked with these clubs for more than 4 years, responsible for mobilizing over 8,000 investment clubs in the country, and is an economist, a seasoned banker, so he knows what he's doing. Ladies and gentlemen, our first judge, Joseph Kasaija. I'm not sure if you'll be the tough judge or you'll be the nice judge. We'll see as the show unveils. And our second, yes, you'll be the tough one. Ah, I hear you. I'd like to unveil to you our second judge. And this one I have met before. And I think when I saw that she was going to be the judge for this show, I smiled. Because I have tested her work. You know what I mean by testing her work? She's always saying, focus, focus, you people need to focus, you need to know what the money is doing. You're forced to listen. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, I'm very proud to call a Rotarian, a life coach, a motivational speaker. She has years in capacity building and personal development. And if you don't watch for any reason, please watch because of Judge Anne Mohanji. Oh, Bugala for this one. You wait when I give her a microphone. You will know. You will know what I'm talking about. And I think we give ladies space. They must walk properly onto the stage. You see? Anne has her notes. That's how you know. Welcome. And that's our second judge. Our third judge, ladies and gentlemen. This one, I saw his suit. We should ask him what investment club he belongs to. He's an associate director within the PwC Risk Assurance Practice. 11 years experience in delivering corporate governance. His expertise is in fraud investigations. Have you heard? Anyone who wanted to do funny business? Now you know. Ladies and gentlemen, our third judge, Adam Sengoa. It's unfair to clap for the ladies very heavily and then you out, the men don't get the applause. All right, given that our judges will be speaking to us briefly, I ask they find a podium. And is it ladies first? Ladies first. Yeah, let's be fair. So Judge Anne will be talking to us about the show, the challenge, the battle for cash, what is to be expected, what to get out of it. Judge Joseph will be talking to us about why we even need this kind of show in the first place. And of course, Judge Sengova Adam will be talking to us about the criteria for those who will be taking part. What do you need to know ahead of the show? So Judge Anne, we'll start with you.
Thank you so much, Flavia. I know it's ladies first, but this time around we're going to reverse it. I am going to request my colleague Joseph to talk about the bigger picture. Why this thing really, Joseph? Thank you.
I love that. I'm always with Anne most of the time, and so she does this to me quite often. But that's fine. Thanks, Anne. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're very welcome to this first ever campaign in this country, championed by the three partners, PwC, NTV, and DFCU Bank. And I like the way Flavia put it. Why are we here anyway? First of all, we thought that we have a calling as citizens of this nation, each one of us here, to transform our communities, to transform our people, to develop our country. And the best thing that we thought could actually generate that inertia and speed was look into the area of savings and investments. So this evening we are here, ladies and gentlemen, to bring a big sound to this nation that we're actually championing the cause of transforming this country to start growing deposits for investments. Number two, we actually have invited the media today because we want to sound out there clearly that we are serious about it. That's why we've made this above the line, and we really want to bring the message right home. I believe and trust that people right now are watching their televisions to listen to what we're going to speak tonight, and I trust that people will learn and know why it's important to save and invest. So the media, thank you for coming, and we really want to thank you. I think we need to clap in our hands for them. Lastly, we are again here to understand the process. I love the way Jude explained the details. So we need again the media to go out there and send the right message. It's important that you actually take the right message. Jude, thank you for taking everyone here through the process. And finally, I believe that the winners tonight are going to walk away with the prize. Thank you very much, Flavia, for that.
Good evening once again. My role here is to talk about the task at hand. Do we have the teams in the house? This is the time to listen. What were you given and what do we expect of you? First of all, why the media? You are the mouthpiece. You are the people who tell everybody about these things. So if you can get some skills, some behavioral competences about financial capability, then if you can leave that, you can be able to educate the rest of our people out there. The task was that each media house should have a team of 2 people. That team should have a name. People, a beautiful name. A name that can pop. We agree? So we'll hear the names. And that team was supposed to work with an imaginary capital of 2 million Uganda shillings. To do what? To come up with a business idea, an investment idea. And there are certain things that they're going to look at. My colleague, the one in charge of compliance, will tell you about the criteria. And the prizes, people. Today, the winning team is taking back $1 million. Do you know what you can do with $1 million? Lots of money. The second team will take back 600,000 Uganda shillings. And today, everyone is a winner today. The third team, and we have only 3 teams today, the third team will take back 400,000 Uganda shillings. Can we clap for those prizes? That money is difficult to get to, don't you believe me? So, may the best team win. Each team has 5 minutes of presentation, because as they say, you have only 1 minute to make an impression. In 5 minutes, you can do lots more. And then the other 5 will be for the judges to ask the various questions. Now, can I invite the big guy to tell us about the criteria? Adam.
Thank you very much, Anne. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've already been categorized as the Simon Cowell of this show, so but that won't be the case. Thank you very much, the partners, that's NTV and DFCU Bank, for pushing this cause, and we're proud as PwC to be associated with you. Going down to the specifics, in terms of the criteria, we'll be looking for innovation in as regards whatever business idea you're presenting, what kind of problem or what kind of problem is it trying to solve in the market, and what's the sustainability of that business in terms of its longevity. Two, we'll be looking at business is about cash, and there's some 2 million that has been put on the table. We'll be looking at how you plan to utilize that 2 million. We'll be looking at your ability to articulate the inflows and outflows across probably 3, 4, 6 months or a year. And the last one, of course, nothing happens without a strategy. How do you plan to go about implementing a business strategy? What are the key things to look out for within which time frames? Then after that, we'll have a session as judges to conclude on who have presented better. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Round of applause as our judges take their seats, because tonight, yes, they will be judging. I told you it's a sketch of the entire show, so we'll do just that. We'll hear from you. Before I introduce the teams from our media who actually asked them, but it's not just 2 people, it's 5 or more, so don't panic. Eh? Even your neighbor can still be part of this. There's one more judge who couldn't join us tonight, but as you know, the show goes on, you'll be seeing 4 faces. So who's the 4th? A chartered accountant and a former banker, has a wealth of experience for 31 years plus in managing large financial institutions. Richard Biarugawa is a former president of the East and Central Africa, that is Social Security Association, and also former president of the Uganda Institute of Bankers. You know who he is now? You know that face? If you don't know that face, report your boss. Managing Director and CEO of the National Social Security Fund, NSSF, will be our 4th judge, Mr. Richard Biarugawa. Yes, he has received the round of applause. If you're online and you want to send him that message, the hashtag is Battle for Cash. The hashtag is Battle for Cash. If you're not tech savvy in 2017, there's a prayer meeting going on for you in the corner. So, you had the criteria, you had what's expected of you. So the teams that will be presenting this evening, remember how it works. I call the team and your team leader, approach, pick a podium. As they said, you'll have 5 minutes to present. Judge Anne would rather give you 1 minute to impress her, really. Only 1, but we begged for you, so you have 5. Once all the 3 teams are done presenting, the judges will fire away. Ready? Our first team, they said their name is important. I don't know if I should go on. Do we disqualify now? Over. Interesting names, these ones. The first team, ladies and gentlemen, represented by Paul Mugume, is the Kawomera Investment Club. Huh? Paul, approach the bench. Group number 2, that will be represented by Leila Ndagire, is the Royal Investment Club. Remember, approach and pick a podium where you'll be standing. And our third and last team tonight that will be presenting will be led and represented by Saidat Namleme. Terms and conditions, me, I'm here as NTV, not Capital FM, in case we see people you recognize. Team Capital. Yes, so I said if you're not tech savvy, the prayer meeting is somewhere. So there's a small gadget there, but I don't know if Jude is going to help you. Great. As you can see, Jude is more tech savvy than I am. As he walks them through that, remember it's 5 minutes for each team. Judges, as I read them, will be their order of presenting. The Kawomera Investment Group will go first. the Royal Investment Group, and then Team Capital will be last to present. Last doesn't mean least, so don't panic. As Jude walks them through that, remember it's 5 minutes. Judges, will you have the timer? They'll have the timer. Our judges will ask and do the Q&A after. Now, for our audience, our media fraternity, if you have any questions about this show, if you have any questions about this challenge, we'll give you your moment of Q&A after the presentations are done and after, of course, our judges are done giving their remarks. So keep those closed, note all your questions down. We'll give you your moment to give those Q&As. Jude, we're giving you 1 minute to impress, although you're halfway into that minute. So Paul Mugume will go first, followed by Leila Ndagire, and then Saidat Namle. So given that even going forward, all I will be is a presenter for the show, I leave the judging to who? The judges. So when a contestant or someone presenting asks me of something, I think you have the power to decide whether that happens or not. So the person who was supposed to present first from Team Kawomen Investment Club has asked that he goes second. Because even in class, first was a position that eluded him. Oh, I talk badly, but you deserve it. How are you not ready? These are the things that won't be allowing on the show. But he says the computer has gone home. It is on its way back. It had gone to pick something. So we can allow it. The judges are in a good mood. So Leila Ndagire, you will be going first.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ndagire Leila, representing on behalf of Vision Group. The Royal Investment Club is where we're going to invest our money. So you know everything attached to royalty is always class, beauty, and those beautiful, beautiful things. We are going to deal with baking. Our company name is Queen's Bakery. We called it Queen's Bakery because when you're choosing a brand name for a company, you make sure you involve the products you're producing. So we basically are going to deal in queen cakes, donuts, cookies, and bread. The uniqueness of this venture is it is bankable. When we talk about something being bankable, there is return on investment. How? It is in line with the consumption culture of Ugandans. Most of the Ugandans, like according to the U-Boss household survey, 2012-2013, they spend 46% of their income on food. When we talk about food, snacks are not excluded. So basically, it's a unique venture because there is ready and adequate market, easy accessibility to raw materials because it's located in Mukono, and you people know it very well, Azam, which is a Q-marked product. It's a producer of wheat flour. It's having a Q mark. So there is easy accessibility to raw materials because it's located at Kazinga where you get it, which you most definitely know is near Mukono. Another thing, we are well knowledgeable about the business, which is going to enhance customer confidence. Most of the customers would want to know, how far do you know about a certain product for them to purchase? So once you have that, it is very good because they have confidence in your products, and of course, there will be adequate and reliable market. Aside that, most of the people in small businesses do not use financial statements. In our business, it's going to be different. We're going to use receipts. We're going to use delivery notes. We're going to use cash sales receipts. We're going to use debit and credit notes to avoid loopholes and challenges that come with accounting and record keeping. That is the uniqueness of our business idea. Justification for Queen's Bakery. Queen's Bakery is in relation to the consumption patterns of Ugandans. Most of you people here will agree with me. Once we finish having this buffet or eating food, anyone would want a dessert. So snacks, baking products are in relation with the consumption patterns of Ugandans and the demographics. Future plans we're looking at, in the future, we would want to add value addition. We would want to enhance value addition to the products we are manufacturing or producing. In doing this, we want to include pumpkin flour as one of the raw materials we're going to use in our business because it's going to increase on foreign exchange since it's a new product, most especially when we're talking about baking. Then, as we all know, baking products are on high demand, reason being they are affordable. Anyone in this building or even outside can afford a donut, can afford a cake, can afford bread. And in most occasions when you reach home, most of the kids before they welcome you, they're like, "Mommy, I want bread." So we are going to reinvest in this business because if you want a business to grow, it's like nurturing a child. When she's still young, you don't start asking for things like, when is the bride price coming? So future plans, we're going to look at reinvestment. Aside that, we are looking at business expansion. Since it is a bankable business, in other words, there is high return on investment, we are going to expand to make the 2 million more money. As the saying goes, save money, invest money to make more money. If people want something that is feasible, something that is viable, something that is backed by a passionate team, that is going to bring the expectations of shareholders, they should look no further than Queen's Bakery. Thank you so much.
Were the 5 minutes done, judges?
She's within the 5 minutes.
She's within the 5 minutes.
4:37. Yeah.
All right. So, Paul Mugume, representing the Kawomera Investment Club, are you finally ready?
Sure.
Okay, great. Your 5 minutes, I guess, start with the judges.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Mugume. I am representing Kawomera Investments Club, and we are a team of 4 gentlemen. All of us are online media bloggers and publishers. Kawomera, Kawomera is a Luganda word to mean something that is sweet. And from what we have seen since as a child, not anyone would want something that is bitter, even if they say it has nutritional value. But whenever they say something is bitter, someone has a second thought. But when they say something is sweet, everyone wants to taste it. That is how we got into the name Kawomera Investment Club. Our club of 4 is going to be producing fresh fruit juice. And yeah, that is a team of our members. We were seated right there. Please, you can stand up. Yeah, Adrian, Brian, and Edwin. We came up with the idea that we need to quench the thirst of people that are around the area where we'll be located, and we're basically targeting the local market in Uganda. We chose to be located around Ham Towers, that is on Makerere Hill Road, because we are targeting to serve a juice that is fresh and nutritious to the students at Makerere University, students from the neighboring institutions, because that area has a diverse culture, it has a diverse audience, and has many students around there. Ham Towers, being a shopping mall, also has a number of traders that will get thirsty along the way. And then it has people who have come to shop. They are probably hanging out with their loved ones, and they would also need to quench their thirst. So we thought we'd get located in that place. About us. Kawomera Fresh Juice is going to be locally made from local products around Kampala, around Uganda. That is going to provide market to the farmers who are producing, and that is going to give us more value since we are investing in production, since we are empowering farmers by buying their products. We will be buying our fruits from markets around Kampala, and we'll use electronic blenders to produce the juice. It will be packed. We will not allow people to sit around. It will only be for takeaway, and there will be a provision for deliveries around Ham Towers. and the neighboring places. Delivery will also work as an avenue for advertisement so that when someone delivers, they will tell you more about the product, and maybe you may consider buying in bulk. I already talked about our target clients, but I will do that again. Students, shoppers, and traders. Our objectives. We are starting small, yes, but we look at providing employment to fellow youth because, yes, people want the white-collar jobs. They are not enough for the magnitudes that are being produced from university. So when we have such a startup, it is going to employ a number of them. And then we look at creating a modern juice bar that is going to be big in future, but for now we'll start small. And then above everything, we need to create an alternative for people that do not want to hang out in an alcoholic area, but they would also want to hang out with their loved ones, so they would come and hang out at our bar and take non-alcoholic juice that is nutritious to their bodies. We'll go to the how we are going to spend the 2 million. We'll need to first make investments that are going to last us for the period of time where we don't have to spend on something, but we'll keep the money in the bank or probably look at investing more. So we're going to buy a juice dispenser that will have 2 containers, one for cocktail juice and one for passion fruit. We'll buy a blender for starters, we'll need one. And we'll buy furniture. This will be like a table where we'll place our displayers so that people can see our products. Then we'll buy jerry cans for starters, we need to carry our juice since we'll be producing it from home. And then other requirements that we'll need, and we'll purchase them according to the figures as projected on the screen. Then, since we do not have enough money but we want to start, we looked at sharing rent with someone else. For instance, someone who has a boutique, they could give us some space, so we share rent. And we looked at paying them 100,000 per month. For the 3 months, we'll use 300,000. And then it is well known that in Kampala, you need to register your business, especially when it has to do with foods. You have to take the people that will work there for a medical test. So we looked at paying KCCA and all those bills at 200,000 shillings. Production costs. We'll need to buy fruits, and we thought we'd use fruits for 50,000 per day. We'll be buying from local markets in Kampala, in particular Kalere, because that will be less transport for us. And then we'll need sugar and spices. This will include ginger, carrots, and any others. And then we'll need glasses. In this, I mean disposable glasses, because we'll not have a place to sit, so everyone will buy and take away. Then we are looking at transport for the first day, because the next transport would get it from the money we would earn that day. And the grand total for our investment before we start off is 2 million shillings. Our daily projections. We think from the fruits we will buy, we'll be able to produce 40 liters of juice. And every 1 liter of juice will be 3 glasses, 3 disposable glasses. That will make 120. We'll sell each glass at 2,000 shillings, giving us a daily gross income of 240,000. We'll have to incur some expenses like I mentioned.
Time up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Paul Mugume of Kawomera Investment Club. And now we have Saidat Namleme representing Team Capital.
Good evening to you all. My name is Saidat Namleme, representing Team Capital. Right here in this room, we are 2 people, but we had other people we worked with at Capital. Our investment idea is about selling broiler chicken. Why is it Team Capital? It's because it's made of people working at Capital, so we decided to keep it at Team Capital. Our idea is rearing broiler chicken. Why broiler chicken? It's very easy to maintain, and it's cheap to purchase, and the running costs are not high, given the capital that we have of 2 million shillings. And chicken has ready market out there. It's eaten on a daily. The hotels, restaurants, even friends ask for chicken, and also hotels. Being the sales people that we are, this team is made of journalists and sales. Being the salespeople that we already have good relationships with the markets that we are going to sell to this broiler chicken. We'll start with 100 chicks. Why? Because the capital is 2 million. And at a rate, I'll use we used Yuga chick rate, which is 2,500 per chick, and that would give us 250,000. So for 2 months, running at a cost of 8,000 each to maintain the chicken to grow. This would cost us 800,000. We'll use 500 to construct a house for the chicken. One of our team members has land in Gayaza, so we intend to build this house there. So we'll have a balance of 450 as miscellaneous, you know, with the dollar going up and down. So you need to have a budget for miscellaneous just in case what you budgeted above is not enough. So we intend to sell the chicken when it grows at 15,000 shillings, and that will give us a return of 1.5 at the end. This would give us a profit of 450. However, because we are promoting a saving culture, on the miscellaneous we intend to save 250. So that's the 700 that you see represented there. For future investment plans, our goal is to be bigger than Yuga Chick. We've already proved, with what I've showed you in my justification, we've already proved that we can make profit out of this. And with the profit that we'll make, we'll put it back into the business and then multiply and be able to increase on the 100 this time when we go back to purchase. In a period of 1 year, running at a profit of 700, we intend to double the chicks to 200, and this will give us 16.8. If you multiply that by 200, making a profit of 700. If you multiply it by 200 chicks, that will give me 16.8. Looking at an average of 250 chicks sold per month, we are looking at an average of 250 chicks sold per month. In 5 years, we intend to be running at 100 million in profit, and we believe this project is viable and we are capable of making a lot of money given a chance. Of course, banking with DFCU Bank. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take a couple of questions in 2 minutes. Thank you for all your presentations.
Round of applause for the teams. And I don't know if this is a bit unfair that only the Royal Investment Club had backing. The rest were not helped on stage for moral support. I don't know if the CEOs of these groups are dictators. I'm not quite sure how you run your... Oh, okay. Some of the teams are updating social media. The other one's team apparently is on radio. So well done, well done. There'll be a few questions from the judges. And remember, media, if you have any questions about Battle for Cash, any questions, whether it's for the partners or DFCU Bank, of course, on the show, keep those close by. There'll be, of course, a moment for you. But for now, the judges, any comments and questions for our teams?
Thank you very much, Flavia. My first question will go to the Royal Investment Club. You talked about investing in baking and the Queen's Bakery idea. What's your target market for these products? Because, you know, for instance, I buy my stuff from Serena here, just next to NTV. And how do you plan to target for the different facets of the people in the population? Okay. And two, how different will your products be? Because we have quite a bit of people right out there. You know, right from the Intakes of this world to the hot lofts to quite a number of shopping malls giving people the same product. So how do you plan to differentiate yourself to be able to break through the market and make sure that your competition won't be able to utilize whatever ideas you're coming up with to put you out? Because remember, they have more resources than you. They have millions of shillings. You have only 2 million.
Thank you very much. You talked about the target market. Basically, since it is a small business, we're going to first look at the ordinary people. The ordinary people can find easy accessibility because most of the people cannot just run into hot loaf and they're like, I want 1 loaf of bread. They would want businesses whereby they have easy accessibility and they have confidence when they are going to be like associating with them. Then aside that, we are thinking of opening up a YouTube channel to put tutorials on how we're going to be manufacturing our products, and we're going to make maximum use of social media. We're going to open up a WhatsApp group for our business, Facebook. Then networking is the major source of business. As you all know, you might be buying your products from a high class or a bigger supermarket or bakery, but once your friend comes and convinces you, in other words, someone can use persuasive language, networking. You can literally buy products from them because you know them. So we're going to make sure we utilize networking to the maximum, persuasive language, attractive display, and having a lot of knowledge about the business. Aside that, most of the members here are in a community-based organization that is Mukono Twezimbe. So during meetings, we're going to be asking for some time to be informing the public about our products, most especially people like that. But the major target market we are going to tackle is through networking. How different our products are going to be from others? We are going to use a very strategic form of packaging because, like most of the people know, people want something. In most occasions, people buy because of first impression. First impression lasts like for 7 years and last impression lasts forever. So when someone sees a product is properly packaged, they will definitely get interested. Then we are going to do what we call quality testing. Quality testing in form of customer feedback. We're going to give our products to customers, but we would want to know. We're going to put up a form that is going to make it easy for our customers to come and give us their views about our products. Someone could tell you, no, the sugar is too much in the cakes, the bread is too salty and stuff like that. We'll put them into consideration, and in the future, we are looking at hiring a professional who will be assisting us in producing quality. Thank you so much.
Team Royal, first I get confused. You're talking about YouTube, you're talking about social media, and then you're talking about Mukono Twezimbe and the local people. So I'm not so sure where you are. Can Mukono Twezimbe use YouTube? Can Mukono Twezimbe and the local person fill a form? Things like that. That is a comment. You need to think about it. However, my question is, please tell me, 5 years from now, give me the picture. Where are you?
5 years from now, we're going to increase on the products we're going to be manufacturing, because we basically do not want to look at baking products only. We would want to put into consideration things like pumpkin flour. Pumpkin flour is something that is in the new era, and it's a very good and rich ingredient when you are making like baking products. But it's also rich if you're selling it to people who are having schools. They add it into porridge. It's very like nutritious, and it's not having a lot of close substitutes in the market. Then aside that, our sales are literally going to increase. Reason being, we are dealing in a business that is in relation to the consumption patterns of the market. So basically that is it, because according to our financial plan, it's like strategically showing that what we're going to be in the next like 5 years, because of the compassion we have, teamwork, determination, dedication, and putting into core values as first priority in our business, the business will literally be large. You talked about Mukono Twezimbe and social media. I would want to make this clear. When you are looking for a marketing business, you have to involve everyone. So Mukono has UCU University, and those people literally might not get to know this business if they do not get onto social media. So you can use networking to your friends, and you tell them, please, sweeties, honeys, we are making these products, birthday celebrations, baby showers, don't go anywhere else. Then when it comes to the local people, you have to get involved in the things they understand. A case in point, Mukono Twezimbe is a community-based program, but you want to have a market everywhere. So you have to get involved in those activities. Hence, you're doing some bit of corporate social responsibility, because Mukono Twezimbe does cleaning of markets as well. Thank you so much.
The Royal, I just wanted to ask one question to you. One of the things that actually kill businesses is competition.
Yes, sir.
I just want you to give us a hint on how probably you can overcome that, because all you've said can be very, very good, but with pressure coming out from competition, it probably made your expectation of sustainability. Just take us through how you probably going to.
Okay, on the issue of competition, like I mentioned, we are doing direct consumption of raw materials from the suppliers. That is Azam at Kazinga Weyogerere. Hence, reducing the cost of production. So what we're going to do, we're going to make our products affordable as compared to the prices of our competitors, since we are getting our products, our raw materials, directly from the producers and manufacturers at a company or factory price. So we are going to use that as a measure when we are entering into the market. Then aside that, we are basically going to make sure we benchmark. We're going to do a survey and find out what are our competitors using, so that we do a benchmark and basically get there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Just to probably shift the limelight to Team Capital, you presented your business to do with selling broiler chicken and gave us your aspirations that you'd want to be better than the Yuga Chicks of this world. We want you to articulate more, going back to the finances. You know, the story is nothing when it comes to, if you can't articulate the finances well. You told us that you project to be able to sell 100 chicks at 2,500, giving you 250,000. The cost of growth over the period of 2 months was 800,000. Could you kindly break down what is involved in the 800,000 in terms of that cost of growing those chickens?
Thank you. We intend to start with 100 chicks, and to purchase these 100 chicks, at a Yuga chick rate, it's 250. Rather, sorry.
Just to be specific, focus
2,500.
Focus on the 800,000.
Yes.
Break it down. It's over 2 months. What's the component in there?
To be able to buy the feeds for the chicken and also to put all the other things that have to be in the house where I'm going to rear the chicks. It will cost 8,000 per chick for the period of 2 months.
Okay, just to be more specific, in the overhead costs we forecast there could be utilities like electricity. We know chicks need the warmth. There could be water. There could be vaccines for the chicks. There could be distribution costs, because you talked about supplying hotels. There could be staff costs as well. So what are the unit costs for all those categories, and how do you come up to the 800,000?
Okay, one of our team members is already doing this business. So we sought for ideas from him, and he told us it would cost 8,000 to raise them to a sellable level. And one of our other team members has a vehicle that we'll use to move. In our miscellaneous, we have 450,000 that is going to cater for the fuel to distribute around the chicken when it's ready. And part of the team members are salespeople who already have established relationships with restaurants, hotels, and we also are very friendly people. We have friends who would also buy chicken from us.
Team Capital, there is something called gombolo in chicks. Do you know it?
I beg your pardon?
Gombolo, it's a viral disease that attacks chicks. Do you know that disease?
Well,
okay, it exists.
Okay.
So you have 100 chicks.
Yes.
And 80 of them die. Tell me, right now, I come and tell you 80 of the chicks have died. What is your strategy? How would you manage that?
Well, that is still why we have miscellaneous.
What would you do with the miscellaneous?
Would purchase more chicks, because we don't want to give up. You know, one thing that I learned as a salesperson is you don't give up on something. You persist, and in your persistence, you achieve something.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, Team Kawomera. I like your presentation.
Thank you.
Look like you know your market.
Thank you so much.
But I'm a marketeer, so I'm interested in seeing products grow and are sustained. How are you going to ensure quality, good quality, so that we're able to get the best out of what is around on the market?
How are we going to ensure quality?
Kawomera, I also have something related to that. Please. What would make me come back? There's so many juice bars. Tell me that one thing that would make me come back to your juice.
While we were brainstorming with our colleagues, actually a few hours before the presentation, we wanted to hone this well. We agreed that would make our place look nice. One of the things that we had to do was not look for a very cheap place, but rather get a good looking place in a mall, so that we can share rent, but at least be in a good looking mall. The other thing is you look at a place that the way it will look. We'll keep it tidy. Above everything, we'll have quality in what we produce.
Thank you very much, Team Kawomera. You, as part of your objectives, you mentioned two things. Providing employment to the fellow youth. Please elaborate on how that's going to be done. And the second one, as your go-to-market strategy, you mentioned that you're going to be distributing and you'll be giving takeaways, yeah? And then on the other side, you said you'd want to open up a bar where people come to hang out, and that's kind of like a non-alcoholic place. So what are you exactly doing? Because if you're giving it as takeaway, then people can't hang around your location.
For starters, building a bar is a long-term plan. It is after we have accumulated some money. But for starters here, we want a takeaway because we cannot afford to rent a bigger place. When we have accumulated our monies, I am sorry my presentation cut me short, but I'd outlined how we do that and after what period of time. That is how we would have to build a bar. About employment, it comes to the question you asked. When we build a juice bar, it is going to require more manpower. It is the youth that are going to be employed in that particular bar, and we are going to be providing employment for them. About marketing, like Flavia already asked, we don't intend to stop this idea here. This is not just about competition. We intend to implement it. And as the team that is seated there, they're already tweeting, after Battle for Cash, they're adding Team Kawomera. So that when we roll out, we are actually ready for it. I am sure the people in here and the people that are on Twitter right now, you have seen a hashtag Team Kawomera, and you probably were wondering what it is. It is us. We are going to give you fresh juice.
Thank you very much, contestants. We'll give the floor back to Flavia as we put together the marks for the different teams.
Thank you so much. Teams, I'm going to give you a few minutes to get a breather, relax, and so the nerves can go. And also, Kawomera will serve the juice as we wait. So you can take your seats for now, and also the judges will be tallying up to see, since you're all winners, we'll see the magnitude of winning. You see the zero shame. Are you noting that team that had no shame to take selfies? I'm not saying which one, just note it. But you know what? Make sure you hashtag Battle for Cash. And tag DFCU. Tag NTV. Tag PWC. Go ahead and tag me, so I see what it looks like. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call, of course, our partners. As you've already heard from the speeches earlier, that we're not doing this alone. It's not just NTV, it's not just DFC, it's not just, so just a few remarks from our partners, why they chose to be part of this Battle for Cash. What does it mean to empower Ugandans to learn how to save or do more with their money? And first, I'd like to welcome from PWC, the country senior partner. Please help me welcome Mr. Francis Kamleger.
Thank you very much, Flavia. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As PwC, we are really, really honored to be part of this initiative and financial literacy campaign. Ugandans are very entrepreneurial, and this has been recorded widely by surveys done by the World Bank and various entrepreneurial international companies. And one of the biggest challenges we have in our country is sustainability of those startups. On the other hand, there's also lots of investment clubs that have come up over the years, different groups, whether it's the youth, ladies, women, ladies and women, is that the same? And people working in the same place, and all sorts of different stakeholders putting money together. So as PwC, when we shared ideas with I noticed both Aggie and Juma are not here, but they're very well represented. But the three of us sat together and said, what is it that we can do as thought leaders, as very key stakeholders in this economy, as players that can be transformational as far as our economy is concerned? And this idea came up. I personally am a member of 3 investment clubs, one of which is in Kenya, where I used to work about 12 years ago, and a couple here in Uganda. And my experience with these clubs, especially the Ugandan clubs, has shown that actually mobilizing money, difficult as it is, can turn out to be the easier thing. Then deploying that money in terms of investing is one of the biggest challenges. So our role as PwC in this campaign is going to be facilitating the investment clubs in terms of supporting them to move to the next level, to move from saving to investing. We are also going to be helping in exposing them to other more developed economies, and when I say that, it's our neighbors here in Kenya. They are more developed than us, believe it or not, and I'm sure you all know that. But most importantly, the culture of savings in Kenya is like multiples of what we have in Uganda. In Kenya, they reckon that out of every 3 people, 1 person belongs to a chama. Chama is the Swahili word for a saving club. In Kenya, the statistics I looked at were about 3 years out of date. I think they're 2013 data, and they were showing that investment clubs in Kenya are worth about 300 billion Kenya shillings. I saw some of the media brief we had here was that we have about 10,000 investment clubs with total assets of about 400 billion. Now, in the case of Kenya, that is 3 times, actually 30 times, because you look about the Kenya shilling vis-a-vis the Ugandan shilling. We've chosen Kenya as the destination for the winning top 20 clubs, where we'll take them for more exposure and knowledge sharing and also networking with those people who have been very, very successful. And again, the reason why we chose that country is because of how successful chamas in that country are. Apart from just saving and investing for financial freedom and independence, I've found that investment clubs, and I'm speaking from experience, they nurture a culture of togetherness, they nurture a culture of learning together, because if somebody, I mean, these 2 young ladies and the gentleman, I don't know whether they've done this before, but you could see that when they go together, they put together an idea, but it's very unlikely the guy who has a piece of land in, is it Gayazo Kasangati, would venture into this on his own. But when you go together with 3 friends, you have a piece of land, somebody has the idea, DFCU has the cash, say, let's get together and make this happen. Also, in our country here, we have issues of accountability at different levels, whether it's at the state, in terms of government, whether it's in terms of, NGOs, corporate sector, you name it, a local council. But when you're members of an investment club, because you get together for a common purpose and you have certain things in common, you find that there's a certain culture of accountability that comes as a result of just being together. And the other one is knowledge sharing. And personally, I am fairly knowledgeable, but I've learned a lot by being together with these very good friends of mine in these numerous investment clubs that I belong to, things that I would never, ever think of doing alone. In terms of investment, and over and above that, things that I would never have thought of knowing, but learning from those different people. Now, this initiative is very, very timely. And I think it's, I don't know whether it was the gentleman from DFCU who spoke and said the saving culture in Uganda is quite bad. And also when it comes to access to finance, one of the reasons why the cost of capital or cost of finance in Uganda is as high as it is. There are many reasons, one of which is the lack of long-term savings. So these financial institutions are relying on short-term money to lend long-term capital projects. And that is not sustainable. In all the big international markets that we're aware of, it is investment clubs, it's pension clubs, it is people pulling money together and then deploying it for a common purpose for the long term, and then the financial institutions work as intermediaries. So I'm very, very confident and hopeful that this initiative is going to inculcate that culture of saving, but also educate the savers on investment opportunities. And I believe that once we move beyond just saving but investing, it's possible that we could also be a source of big pools of capital for even funding our economy. And the reason why I say that is the biggest private equity firm in East Africa is TransCentury. And the teams that will be taken to Nairobi will go to the Nairobi Stock Exchange, and we hope that they will interact with the principals or the private equity people or even the advisors of institutions like TransCentury, Centum. Both those companies are cross-listed on the East African Stock Exchange, including here in Uganda. But those are big conglomerates, but they all started as small saving clubs. TransCentury in particular, a group of very senior people as they are now, but about 20 or so years ago, maybe 28 years ago. They started an idea like we've heard from Kawomera, from Capital, from Royal, and 28 of them got together, and 20 years later, they are the biggest company in East Africa on the Nairobi Stock Exchange. So I'm very, very confident that what we're doing as PwC with our partners, DFCU, NTV, sharing this knowledge and encouraging ideas, and most importantly, hand-holding these investment clubs will move them to the next level. I'm particularly excited about the opportunity we're going to get as a firm to interact with these young entrepreneurs. We have committed to support the 20 clubs and provide them advisory services for a period of 12 months. This is PwC working with, hope these three will be one of them, but whoever those winners will be eventually, 12 months advising on human capital issues in terms of employment, taxation, governance, accounting in particular, and record keeping, and even helping them to engage and interact with their finances, because at times people get money from the bank and they just go, and the bank, as long as the bank is getting their repayments, usually they don't interact as often. The banks are very, very interested in ensuring that these clubs are successful. It's not just about keeping your money, but using your money to multiply it and grow it in terms of creating wealth. So those are some of the services we are going to be providing, in addition to, of course, going with them to Nairobi on the Nairobi Stock Exchange, and also interacting with numerous private equity funds. But this is a great initiative. Personally, I'm very, very excited. All my colleagues in PwC are very, very excited about this. I want to say a very, very big thank you to DFCU and NTV, and most importantly, all the members of the media houses here, because we hope that you will be supportive, and most importantly, financial literacy is lacking in this country. We, as the three partners, are availing ourselves to, I'm committing my colleagues here, something we haven't discussed, but I would like us to be available to the business editors and writers and all the various people in terms of the media houses, so that we demystify these things that don't quite make sense to you, and then you end up writing about them and usually misinform the public. I attended my first investment club seminar training about 30 plus years ago, and I'm not young, and you can see by that. But I was told at that time, and we were told so many things, but the one thing that I stayed with was, and this you might need to get a piece of paper, but you can do it mentally. In fact, not even paper. Many of you use smartphones. Take your age. Divide your age by 2. Get a number. If you're 40, that number is 20. If you're 21, like Flavia, that number is 11 and a half. If you're 49 going to 50, like myself, that number is 25. That number should be the percentage of savings you should be putting aside from your monthly income to enable you have the lifestyle that you want to have when you retire. Now, if you're starting at 50, that's a lot of money, because 25% is a lot of money. Remember, 40%, I think we're told, goes into consumption and housing and food, and then you add on electricity, then you add on utilities, then of course school fees, housing, you name it, you might end up, with nothing. So it's very, very important to start now. That is in terms of saving. But those savings are not going to be anything meaningful unless you invest, because 10 shillings of 2 years ago is probably worth 6 shillings now. So savings is the first thing, and then please invest. And that is where we come in to share knowledge and ensure that we help all these young entrepreneurs and all the saving clubs to deploy this money and create the wealth of tomorrow. I thank you very much, and I look forward to the next 6 months in this very, very exciting campaign. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kamlega. Did you do that? Your age divide by? Your true age divide by? Yes. I know the ladies, we have the public edge, we have the private edge, we have the edge our parents know, we have the edge the village knows, then we have the edge on application forms. We're like footballers. If you're 42, you're 22. So, Mr. Kamlega, you said you started your first investment club in Kenya? In Kenya. So, one of my colleagues at Capital FM, I am not part of that team, just so you know, plausible deniability right now, but formed a group talking about investment clubs. And they were trying to put money together and start something eventually, maybe in the next 4 years. They were not doing it for now. And he asked them, oh, that's good. So how long have you been doing it so far? They said 3.5 years. He said, oh, great. We do that in Kenya as well. How much do you have? So he said, okay, 4 people, we've been able to raise about 8 million shillings. She said, Kenya shillings, Uganda shillings. No, Uganda shillings. He said, He said, what does that get you in this country? So we said, why? He says, okay, we have the same thing back home. A few of our friends did the same thing. And I think the other day we're going to celebrate that we bought some property in the middle of Nairobi, so we all flew to... Statements were a bit difficult. You bought in the middle of Nairobi, you were flying to celebrate. We told him, boss, we're different. He said, no, don't. We started with less than what you see today. We've done it for 15 years. So you can imagine, this is a man who's about 48 now. And he says 15 years. It's just, childhood friends. They just, they graduated and figured, we should just do this thing. Why not? And over the years, it became something very valuable for them. So don't fret for small beginnings. They become something major in the future, yeah? So one of our partners actually is going to be airing this challenge. You'll see Battle for Cash, you'll see financial tips here and there, is NTV. And I would like to welcome the head of production, Jackie Senyondo, to talk to us. And I'm guessing deliver also a few words from our MD, who's not able to join us this evening. So welcome from NTV, Jackie Senyondo. A round of applause. This is also my boss. Be nice.
Thank you, Flavia. All protocol observed. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, and invited guests. I'll start off by offering apologies from my MD. She's not able to be with us today on this great day. She's out of the country, but I will represent. And like Flavia said, many of our viewers, the 2 million or so who are mentioned, will be able to follow this exciting event, and I'll make sure of that. I'll be working with all the teams to see that everybody gets to have a look and to also pick from the challenge, which is going to be very exciting for all of us. We as NTV, we are honored to be unveiling a new savings challenge, the first of its kind in Eastern Africa. The Battle for Cash will not only see thousands of investment clubs set up across the country, but also come up with interesting investment ideas that will give a chance to members to win up to 100 million shillings. This is a unique competition that will be unveiling countrywide, and we believe that competitions like this will be able to open up new spaces for Ugandans to start thinking differently in terms on how to leverage the friendships and networks that we have, while at the same time creating a new savings culture in which the required amount of capital in running businesses will significantly come down should we be able to instill this culture in our families and homesteads. Okay. The challenge is quite simple and interesting, as we have had a sample here on the stage. The rewards are immeasurable, and the earnings will definitely uplift the quality of our businesses, contributing to the sustainability of our businesses, and therefore improving the lifespan of most of our SMEs that we shall be closing down before celebrating their 5th birthday. To our partners, DFCU and PwC, we are humbled to be working with you. We hope that this challenge, Battle for Cash, will be able to bring a new culture that will propel economic development for our country. I call upon all Ugandans to tap into their WhatsApp groups, family, social networks, and form savings clubs, but also consider this an opportunity for them to finally raise money that will allow them to start realizing some of the greatest business ideas they have kept for a long time. I wish all the participants the best. Thank you so much, because here at NTV, we are committed to always turning on your world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jackie Senyondo from NTV, Head of Production, also representing the Managing Director, Agi Asimwe Konde. And before we get to the judges telling us who takes the 1 million, the 600,000, the 400,000, we'd like to hear from the Executive Director and the Chairman of Business at DFCU Bank, Mr. William Sekabembe.
Members of the Fourth Estate and the media, I think this is your day. So in terms of protocol, I think it's only deserving that we start with yourselves. Our partners, senior country partner, Mr. Kamlegia from PwC, Jackie, representing the MD from NTV, management and staff from DFCU, good evening. We at DFCU, we are extremely delighted. First of all, the setup today is extremely great, and I want us to clap for all the people who have put this together today. But also sitting in my seat there and watching the battle of cash in motion, seeing the media fraternity battling for the cash, it made me think and believe that this is going to be a very successful campaign. Today we're also privileged to have amidst us the Commissioner for Financial Inclusion from the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, who has joined us today. And that, of course, is a clear manifestation that we are partners with government in terms of driving financial inclusion. So welcome you from the ministry. I also like to send the apologies from my MD, who is not joined us today. He's been summoned by the head of state, to be precise, and has not been able to join us today. So I extend his apologies. But we are well represented. The entire senior management team of DFCU is here, and I mean EXCO. So you are all recognized and welcome. I don't want to recognize the EXCOs from other partners, so you will excuse me for that. Tonight, we unveil the partnership between DFCU, PwC, and NTV, with a key objective of driving financial inclusion, promoting the savings culture, and also financial literacy. And what we're saying today is that as DFCU, we shall continue to provide access to financial services. As you're all aware, DFCU is one of the leading banks in the country today, with our expanded network of over 67 branches and over 100 ATMs. We reach out to all the corners in Uganda, and we have a lot of presence in the rural areas. So that is a clear commitment that we are drivers of financial literacy, financial inclusion, and driving savings culture in this country. We are also the anchors of investment clubs in Uganda. 10 years ago, DFCU launched investment clubs in Uganda, and it has been a very successful story for us. Over the last 10 years, we've managed to onboard 13,000 investment clubs and over 50,000 members. And this is one of the fastest growing savings line. And that is very encouraging. As much as the government has tried to drive access to financial services, we still lag behind in the region. We lag behind compared to Kenya, Tanzania, and Rwanda. An average person in Kenya saves up to 23% of their income monthly. Rwanda is 18%. Tanzania, 13%. And Uganda is a meager 1.5% savings. That is a big difference, and we need to do a lot. So, investment clubs comes in very handy. And we've seen a lot of success. Some of the big malls in this country are a product of investment clubs. We've seen investment clubs investing in agriculture, large-scale agriculture. We've seen investment clubs potentially bidding to take on some of the big companies in this country. And DFCU will be at the forefront in terms of building capacity, in terms of training, in terms of providing investment options. And that we've done very well. And out of that, we've seen investment clubs grow exponentially. And for that, we are proud because we've made our contribution in terms of driving the savings culture in this country. So today is not just the launch of a campaign, but also we celebrate 10 years driving the investment club proposition. Together with our partners, we've pulled together over $350,000 to drive this campaign. And we have no doubt, and we are committed, that this is going to be one of the best campaigns that you've seen in this market. But members of the media, I also like to challenge you that as we drive this campaign, let's ensure that we promote the ideas and objectives of this campaign. Let's get the public to know that they can save. Start small, but grow. And that's what we drive behind investment clubs. Start small, let your investment club work for you. But also, we support along the way, because part of our product proposition is that we give you advice where you can invest, but also we can give you more money to invest. We can give you up to 150% of your savings. So if you've saved about 10 million and you want to invest in an entity or a project of 15 million shillings, we can give you the additional 5% at discounted rate. So I believe that's a big one. I wish I could get some hand clap as I promote. So the details of the campaign have been elaborated. I'll not go into that detail, but I'd like to thank our partners once again for having put this idea together. I remember where we started in the boardroom, where the senior partner and the MD for NTV came and challenged us. And they said, we see an opportunity. We believe you can pioneer the growth of savings in Uganda. And they took us on, and we liked the challenge. And I'm happy today that that meeting that we started in the boardroom at Shadow on the Road has bear this fruit. So we'd like to thank you. So part of the winners, we're also looking at the vulnerable groups, the women and the youth. And we shall have a special category of winners for the youth and for the women. But you have to be 100% women in your group, please. And for the youth, I'm told you have to be below the 35-year mark. So please, now we have the national ID. Don't try to become a youth when you're not a youth. So as I wind up, we'd like to encourage all of you, if you've not started an investment club, please join an investment club. We shall support you. We shall handhold you. We shall give you advice free of charge. We shall give you coaching. We shall embrace you just to get you to the level that you want to get to. Uganda, if we are to drive the investment that we want to drive, we need to grow the savings. And the partner here put it very right. Save and then invest. So there's no two way about it. We need to drive the savings up. We cannot only be saving 1.5% of our salary. That is really, really, really disappointing. So, the campaign begins today, officially, and we'll expect that as a media, you'll also promote this campaign heavily, but also push the individuals to come and open investment club accounts. We have a lot of promotional materials. We have early bird prizes, which we've not talked about here today, but we'll be having draws almost every week, and shall be having winners every week. DFCU, our brand promise is making more possible. And we are committed, as the leading bank in this market, as the second largest bank in this market, to continue making more possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. William Sikabembe, the Executive Director and Chairman of Business at DFCU Bank.
Sorry, Chief of Business, not Chairman.
Chief Banange, Chief of Business. My apologies, sir. You must, Manange. On that note, I will start my own investment club now, just for that mistake. Do we have any questions? It could be to any of the partners about the show, about the Battle for Cash, about the Investment Club Challenge. Do you have any questions? And just to note that if you want your sidebar interviews with the Chief of Business and the Executive Director of DFCU Bank, you can have that interview later on. But if you want a general Q&A, anyone, you can raise your hand. I'll come to you. You don't even have to get to the podium. The media, you are our guest, so if you have any questions. If not, I would like to go back to the judges, but before that, I'd like to welcome back the teams and their representatives, because now this is the time we get to know. So back to the podium, I'd like to welcome Paul Mugume, who was representing Kawomera Investment Club. Also welcome back Leila Ndagire, representing the Royal Investment Club. You need to know that these ones are from Vision Group. And also representing Capital FM, Saidat Namleme for Team Capital. Please back to the podiums. There's no rigging here, so you can't whisper to us who wins what, dear audience. It will happen the same way on TV. You can always tweet with the hashtag Battle for Cash and say, but I thought the other one's idea was great. I thought this one was brilliant at presenting, but that's as much as you can do. It's always going to be up to the judges. So judges, take it away.
Moment of truth is here now. We were given powers to come up with the best presenter, full of future in terms of business continuity. And we've used all the powers we were given to be fair. And so, to get the details of how we went about it, I will request my colleague to just give us a brief on how we came up with the best winner. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the participation. Well, you had quite a short time to put that together. Going back to the challenge, the capital was 2 million, yeah? So we looked at how reasonable the business idea was. How will you be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve within the 2 million, yeah, without being able to source for other capital? We looked at another area around what the chief of business talked about. You need to start small, because so often we have all sorts of ideas, yeah? You want to overtake Yuga Chick, you want to be the next biggest supplier of bread, you want to do all these things, yeah? And you want to do all that on day one, yeah? So how reasonable were your plans and aspirations vis-a-vis the available resources, yeah? That was key. Two, we looked at the ability of your business to really give back to the communities within which they operate. Things like probably employment came up from Kawomera, but some of those were not clear from the other two teams. Finances is a very key element, yeah? one of the challenges these investment clubs will face as they go towards achieving their business plans is they will pitch to private equity firms, they'll go to the stock exchange. Now you need to be able to convince someone else to bank or to pay money to buy some stake into your business. However, if you can't articulate your day-to-day costs to the specifics and what you're going to push out in terms of sales revenue, in terms of units, in terms of the cash you're going to get, business at the end of the day is about cash flow. We've all heard about what the case is for Uganda. We have so many entrepreneurs, but right from day one, they focus on the big picture and they forget the key element of the cash flow. So we also looked at that element in all your presentations and the ability to really articulate what it really meant. When you get 2 million today, what is it you're going to do and what are the challenges and what options are you going to go for and what assumptions are you making, yeah? And then at the very last part of it, strategy. How are you going to go about the entire plan? What kinds of risks are you foreseeing, yeah? One of the judges asked about the diseases, yeah? We all know chicken, at the end of the day can go down, yeah? A key element of the juice industry is water, health and safety. You didn't talk about anything about boiling water, what controls were in there, nothing, yeah? So at the end of the day, your customers could suffer food poisoning. Bakery, things like fire. We've seen quite a bit of bakeries catch fire. We didn't hear anything about such strategies to manage such risks. You talked about foreign exchange vis-a-vis the pumpkin, but we didn't get any correlation between that as regards what you're really trying to push for. So the key point here is you only have a very short time to make an impression, and you need to have your facts right. Thank you.
Flavia, am I allowed to stand? Yes. Do we have our prizes ready? Okay. Team Kawamera, please step forward. Where are you going to give your prizes?
I'm assuming, as you are now second runner-up, first runner-up, I will give you someone to hand over. It's cash.
Great.
It's
Team
cash.
Kawamera, please step forward.
Because I said I'd start an investment club, no one trusts me with money, so they've sent the lovely ladies.
So you're going home with the lowest amount of money.
Oh.
You were.
I told you.
Hey, not yet. Maybe not yet. Maybe not yet. Team Kaumera, we liked your name to resonate with your product.
Okay.
And you had people power. You had a team there. And the best thing about it, you're already living the dream. Hashtag Kawamera or whatever it is. Anyone got it? So, are you going with the lowest amount of money? Maybe not.
His heart had sunk.
Okay. What about Team Royal? Articulate, stage pomp, isn't it? So probably should win it. No? Ladies and gentlemen, the team that goes back with 400,000 Uganda shillings is a team. Guys,
audience, pretend you're watching on TV.
Just is a team.
Tweet your thoughts.
That gave its all, that believed in what they were doing. However, it was a tough decision. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Royal.
Right. I would like to welcome the country senior partner of PwC.
Team Royal would like to thank you.
Give this cash.
You did well. Huh? Go back, grow that cash.
Mr. Francis Kamlega, please. To Royal, and we want smiles in those pictures, Mr. Kamlega. Very big smiles. Round of applause for Royal. They did their best. Well done, well done.
Team Kawamera, are you all right? Team Capital, please step forward.
Team Kawamera, don't worry, there's food.
Team Kawamera, I think we give you 600,000.
At least
you go and
you have something to look forward to.
Come and collect it. They have resources that are available that they want to use the land in Gayaza. So we're thinking we should give it to Team Capital. No? Ladies and gentlemen, The person that will go back with the second prize, Uganda shillings 600. It could do lots of things, isn't it? Put your hands together for Team Capital.
Well done. I would like to welcome Jackie Senyondo from NTV, one of our partners, to give the big smile and hand over the cash. Please, the guys who haven't been told you've won, first wait. DJ, hold on. Those who haven't been told you've won,
actually,
wait.
There could be a tie.
Wait.
There was a tie.
So, Jackie Senyondo, our representative from NTV, will hand over. Smiles, because we are yet to know the winner. We still don't know. So relax.
Hashtag Team Kawomera is taking back $1 million.
Congratulations, Team Kawomera. I'd like to welcome the Chief of Business and the Executive Director of DFCU Bank. He spoke well about this and saving, so shake hands and also tell him your dreams about your business. If you didn't present, first let the guy take his moment. First let the guy have his picture alone so that he can brag he was alone in the team. Then after that you join him. Congratulations. Team Kawomera taking home 1 million shillings. Your team members, please, to come join you for the win. The team had how many people? Was Brian in charge of finance? Well done. In fact, officially, you are our first battle for cash winners. Yes. Well done. Is there an acceptance speech? Is there acceptance juice? Banange. We get nothing. Okay, there's samples for juice. And remember to open an account with DFCU Bank as usual. Take your money. All the winners, please make sure you look for someone. She's a very wonderful lady called Maureen. If you know you have money in an envelope that was given to you on the stage, please look for Maureen. She wants to give you more money. So whatever you have, she wants to double it. That's the fastest way to find Maureen. So, ladies and gentlemen, how do you like the show? How do you like the show? I'll know by a round of applause if they like the show. All right, so before we go any further, a round of applause for our judges. Not just today, they'll be the official judges of Battle for Cash that will be showing on NTV. As you were told, starting Monday, you should be hearing that call to action. Riri? What? You win 1 million shillings and you can't say really. I am worried. But congratulations once again. So, judges, I'm going to ask you to, go have dinner. Don't worry, have a seat, mix and mingle. Because officially, this is how the show ends. Then now behind the scenes, no one gets to see. We get to enjoy, we get to eat, mix and mingle. And then for the media, anyone who did have questions, we'll be having a section for you so you can ask all the questions you can. For now, soup will be served on your tables first. Enjoy that first. If you're going to be in an investment group that makes a lot of money, there's etiquette for handling money as well. Yeah, we start with soup, mpola, like that. But do enjoy your dinner. I'm Flavia Tumisime. I'll be your host for Battle for Cash going forward. And for this part of the evening, let's enjoy the start of our dinner. Thank you so much. DJ?
I Jomongali Olingana Linakio Sele